100 years from now, it will not matter how much money is there in our bank accounts, which car we ride, or which house we live in. But the world may be a different place. The world may be different and better because we were important in the life of a little child. Family indeed is a very important unit of group dynamics. It used to be said that a family which lives together, prays together, and eats together always stays together. But is that the only family wisdom that we have? Or is there some more ways to master the skill of reaching the full potential of each family member, of making the most of the opportunity that each member receives, and ensuring greatness or achievement or just happiness of each family member? Is there some sort of mastery that we can have on these skills for us and for our families? This book by Robin Sharma promises just that in by providing us some 5 rules or mastery of family wisdom. It says leadership in life begins with leadership at home, and on the other side of fear lies the greatness. So we must face our fears, and for the families to be successful, it is important, like any individual, to first have a vision. For any leader to be successful, he must have a vision. Vision leads to a mission, and mission leads to goal setting. Similarly, for a family to be successful, one needs a family vision agreement. Because if you live your life by choice, then only you will not be living by chance. If a family does not have an agreement of how to be successful, what they need to be doing to achieve greater greatness, then they will be pulled by the magnetic pull of the televisions itself. Their television set is something that they will be glued on, or their mobile sets. They would not be achieving what they are meant to achieve. So the family needs to commit itself to doing what it takes to get there. And for that, your family vision agreement will act like a lighthouse. It will guide your house or home to be a place which is full of love, peace, and which will hold your hands whenever there are any obstacles or whenever the sea is rough. So family, each member needs to become independent, to be elevated to being wiser, more enlightened way of leading your family life. If you're doing something in a certain way because it's always been done in that way, you're probably doing it in a wrong way itself. So the family needs to spend a lot of time in thinking, just like Einstein and leaders used to spend time in thinking and having a vision for themselves. Rabbi Harold Kushner had said 25 years ago, I wish someone had told me that the enduring meaning in my life would be found in shaping my children's values, not in my personal success. This is what is the first mastery of leadership, that life begins with leadership, and leadership in life is with leadership at home. As Goethe had said, if children grow up according to early indicators, we should have nothing but geniuses. So we should hope only for genius in our children to achieve the best of their capabilities. The second mastery, as Robin Sharma says, is for a shift from scolding to molding the leader. It was said earlier that if you spare the rod, you spoil the child. But now you can sculpt the child, you can mold the child into something that he's passionate about doing. So true leadership of human being lies in commending them and not in condemning them. Before anyone will lend you a hand, you must first touch their hearts. Great, creative, energized people who are passionate about what they do. It comes from the start is the molding and then sculpting them into leaders through gift of your unconditional love. So have human movements in the family. You know, human movements are the moments when you touch someone's heart. So it need not be that you have to go out of the way to gift your child something, but these are the special childs with times which bring smile to a child's face. These moments are the moments which a child will remember. Even if, say, electricity goes in your house and you start playing and you start enjoying that without your television, without your mobile, you're enjoying that moment, you're into that moment. Doesn't matter the AC is not working, doesn't matter you're under candlelight, but you are coming together, you're connecting as a family. The next time when the electricity goes, the child will still have that same feeling of enjoyment, merriment, of that human moment that you had created for your child. Make it a rule, never, never if possible, to lie down at night without being able to say, I have made one human being at least a little wiser, a little happier, or little better this day. I had not loved enough. I had been busy, so busy preparing for life, while life floated by me like a regatta, as swift as a regatta. This is what you should not be feeling when you lay down in night, or when you look back at the years that you have lost in being very busy in your profession itself. Because parents are leaders. They are the examples that they're setting for the children by the way that they are conducting their lives. So you are setting an example of how even your next generations will be brought up by the sculpting and molding that you're doing of the current generation that you're doing. So he does not believe who does not live according to his belief, and belief should be only unconditional love. Talk is cheap, and evidence is the actions that you take. It never lies. German poet Goethe, he had said that treat people as if they were what they ought to be and help them become what they are capable of being. Real and lasting happiness comes through progressive accumulation of lovely moments and special moments. These lovely special moments in this book are called human moments. So for your human moments, you have to be lavish with your praise. Give lot of praise, and praise will repeat the good behavior. Praise is a motivator. So never forget that behavior that is rewarded is behavior that gets repeated. Recognize and appreciate when they help. So they will go to market 10 times in a day. If you have appreciated what a great help they were by fetching a loaf of bread for you, for your family, they will feel responsible, mature, and a helping hand. This will be a motivator for them. Lavish them with lot of praise. It is the finest motivator of the human heart, and yet we rarely use it. We use anger, we use punishment. Don't get angry. What's the lesson here? Even if something goes wrong, even if the child has set the house on fire, probably it is the time to ask him, after of course extinguishing the fire, what has he learned from it? Condemning the children will cause them to shrivel up inside and extinguish the very light that makes them so special. Also, be fanatically honest. Show it in your actions, show it in your speech. They will learn. As Mahatma Gandhi had even written a letter to his father that he started smoking, and to get money for the smoking, he had sold a piece of gold from the house to just procure that money. So Mahatma Gandhi, out of his experience, said one cannot do right in one department of life whilst he is occupied in doing something wrong in another. Life is one indivisible whole. Similarly, Roman philosopher Seneca, he wrote, I will govern my life and thoughts as if the whole world were to see the one and read the other. The whole world is going to see my life and is going to read my thoughts. That's how you are supposed to live your life. So your children are authors of your children's day. They are themselves their authors of their life. Make sure you are honest to them, and you expect honesty from them. The actions you take and the habits you make as you pass through your days influence their lives. Your days influence their lives. Your conduct as a parent defines the days of your children. So don't say you will do something unless you're sure you will do it, and try to become meticulous with your words. These words will promote honesty as well as trust. I would like to read a poem to you about your behavior and its influence on the children. Every day, as long as they live, they will be influenced by your behavior. There are little eyes upon you, and they are watching you day and night. There are little ears that quickly take in every word you say. There are little hands all eager to do anything you do, and a little child who's dreaming of the day he will be like you. You are the little fellow's idol. You are the wisest of the wise. In his little mind about you, no suspicion ever arise. He believes in you devoutly, holds all that you say and do. He will say and do in your way when he's grown up, just as you. There's a wide-eyed little fellow who believes you're always right, and his eyes are always opened, and he watches you day and night. You are setting an example every day, all you do, for the little child who's waiting to grow up to be like you. So words have power. Choose your with care. Third mastery of a family leader is focus on child's greatness, not on his weaknesses. Focus on his strengths. Far away, there in the sunshine, are my highest aspirations. I may not reach them, but I can look up and see their beauty. Believe in them and try to follow them, just like Louisa May Alcott had said. Michelangelo also had an interesting saying which said the greatest danger for most of us is not that our aim is too high and we reach it or we miss it, but that our aim is too low and we reach it. That's the greatest threat, my friend. And we humans are like onions. Inside all of us is greatness. We have to just peel out the open layers on the top and reach the inner self, which is the essential selves where all our greatness lies. It's our selves itself. So how do we discipline ourselves to reach this personal greatness? Firstly, envision daily. Envision daily, as we have talked about. Think on a daily basis. Make a family vision agreement. Thereafter, set goals weekly. Walk with giants. That means read books related to successful people or great people. Read their biographies, autobiographies, and also do not forget to give graciously. Have a lot of sense of gratitude in life. Happy people, happy families are those families who do not complain but have a lot of sense of gratitude or an attitude of gratitude. There was a study that was performed by researchers at University of Nebraska of what makes the happiest family in the world so happy, and it revealed some common traits with the book. The first one that it said was that the happiest families are the families where they make the family life itself their priority. So family is the priority. Secondly, the members of these families were openly affectionate with each other. So a lot of hugs, a lot of smiles, a lot of kisses. These are the human moments. Also, these will bring the culture, a family culture of how to behave whenever there is a success, how to behave whenever you wish to say a thanks, or whenever you have to give a prayer, how to welcome a family member. So all these will set up a family culture of compassion, empathy, love, peace, happiness in the family. Researchers found that the happiest of families all shared a healthy respect for the importance of a common and a positive goal. So they believed in a lot of listening and active listening to other family members, or which can also be called an aggressive listening. So do not listen as in you are doing your work and the child is saying something and you're saying, yeah, I'm listening. Show you are interested. Give your inputs to what he's saying. Add to what he's saying. Be a receiver to what he's saying. So give your active listening, aggressive listening to the child. Participate in lots of family discussions. These are the family discussions which will help him gainfully learn And from your experiences of your life, children will learn so much. So peak performing families spend lots of time together, and this time is quality time, not just quantity time. Not just that one family member is sitting with his mobile and another one is sitting in and watching TV in the same room. That is not a family time. Also, these families have good amount of marital happiness. The purpose of life is really a life of purpose. So never leave the sight of a goal without taking some actions towards its advancement or achievement. But in order to be in a position to add real value to other people and contribute to the world as best as you can, you must first come to know who you really are as a human being. Become the person you know you could be. Explore yourself. Learn the greatest capacities, and in understanding who we are fundamentally as people. Create goodness that we have been placed here to create. So the focus of life should really be become the person that you ought to become, that you know you should become. So a person is known by the company that his mind keeps. And first, be your own best friend. Look for what you are most capable of achieving. The fourth mastery in the book that is given is to be an excellent parent, become an excellent person. So life's like a play. It's not the length but the excellence of the acting that matters. The only devils in the world are those that are running in our hearts. That is where the battle should be fought. And if everybody was satisfied with himself, then there would be no heroes. So constantly push the envelope for yourself first and then for the family member. Know your potential, know your areas of growth, know how you can be stronger, wiser and more effective. So take time out of your busy schedule every day for a little life of self renewal, self gratification. Yield positive results of such areas that you have not touched in your life but you have always thought of that this is something you have potential and you should be doing for yourself. So leadership on outside will begin with leadership on the inside. There is another book by Robin Sharma which talks about 5 a.m. Wake up at 5 a.m. and think and meditate, visualize. You could be listening to music, do some gardening, or you could be reading some books, or you can be having some pleasure time for yourself, working in the garden, having loving relationship. So you can work on yourself, you can exercise. Your body is your temple, and it is said that unless you take out time for exercise, you will be taking out time for illness. So focus on the things that count, that really count, not the distractions. Peter Drucker had said, there is nothing more useless as doing efficiently that which should be done, not done at all. So besides being the noble art of getting things done, master the noble art of leaving things undone. See what you really need to be doing in your life. The wisdom in life is of eliminating the non-essentials also. Just imagine if Einstein would not be concentrating on physics itself, would not be specializing in physics, then he would probably trying a lot of things and not be successful. So see what are those non-essentials in your life and then prioritize the essentials. For this, write a general. Take out some 15 minutes of time just to think and write a general. Get your children into the habit of at least taking out 5 minutes before they go off to sleep at bedtime to plan their day next day, and to think of what are the things that they want to do, or maybe even paste pictures in this journal. Where would they want to go in life, what would they want to do, what are the things that they visualize. They can write all that in this journal along with gratitude, or they can have another journal for gratitude, a diary for gratitude, because suffering in life is really nothing more than the difference between way things are and the way you imagine they should be. So the moment one gives close attention to anything, even a blade of grass, it becomes mysterious, awesome and magnificent world in itself. The last mastery that Robin Sharma talks about is give your child immortality through the gift of your legacy. Winston Churchill had said, there comes a special moment in everyone's life, a moment for which that person was born. The special opportunity when he seizes it will fulfill his mission, a mission for which he is uniquely qualified. In that moment, he finds his greatness. It is his finest hour. Robert F. Kennedy had said, few will have the greatness to bend history itself, but each of us can work to change a small portion of events, and in the total of those acts will be written the history of this generation. So teach your children to become noble with their gratitude, just not be receivers, be givers. If a man does not keep pace with his companions, perhaps it is because he fears he has a different drummer itself. He need not achieve greatness, but he can achieve happiness, peace. Let him step to the music which he hears, however measured and far away it can be. Teach the child to give, teach the child to save, teach the child to make a difference for this world, to be able to make this world a better world. He has to take step on a daily basis. So this act of leadership also involves the act of kindness, so that you leave behind a legacy which others will follow. Will our lives be validated and our highest duties fulfilled by performing some truly great act? Or all we need to do is to lead a meaningful life on the world and focus on performing small acts of greatness each and every day. As you go through this book, you will feel exhilarated and excited by the promise of our family future. Such small changes in our life that each and everyone can bring through mastery of these small 5 things that he has offered as family wisdom will let you feel wiser, happier and more enlightened than even before. And each and every one of us can make our family a happier, a better place, and a small improvement in this beautiful world, a world which we can improve from inside out, and we can leave a beautiful legacy even after we have left this earth.